All right, I guess probably final update on the CV Carb installation on this 82 FLH, or yeah, 82, with the sidecar. I've enjoyed the experience so far with the CV Carb. I did do a little bit more work. I tested the again, the adapter that you get, and although it's on there really firm, I'm not worried about that. I did notice that if I squirted some carb cleaner in there at the joint, I was getting a change in RPM, so thus we're getting a little bit of a leak. So I used a gasket from one of the rebuild kits that I think is actually meant for the flanges, the intake flanges, and it fit perfectly. And maybe I used a little gasket sealer too. Yeah, not going to admit to it because people are going to get mad about using something like that. But it's sealed, doesn't leak, can test it, and don't have a change in RPM. The other thing I did was I got this cheapy Amazon choke, short choke off the side here. I'll put the link in the description. The links are always in the description, people. So if you want that, just better fitment. So I've enjoyed it. It runs really nice, really smooth. I was having an issue before and was really racking my brain. It turned out some wiring that the previous owner had put in had come loose and was literally only held together by heat shrink. So when we got up in the RPMs, everything would go crazy. So bike is cold, or I'm really tough. Put the choke out. It's a nice day. Got the battery on. 2 cracks. Boom. Now I'm actually going to warm up this bike and take the dog to the beach because it's actually in the low 70s today. Will I keep this, or am I going to keep this on? I'm debating it. I think the CV car provides a smoother ride experience, and since I do rent this, although everybody's been too much of a puss to actually take me up on the offer, except for one cool person, then I think that just makes it one less thing you have to think about, and a pleasant ride experience. You do lose some of the grunt that you get with the Mikuni or the Super E, and primarily the reason, I'll show you why that is. Well, besides it obviously being air based, so obviously it's only taking what the engine demands. The other part of it is, if you look at the accelerator pump, I'm going to give you a full crack. That is pretty small compared to if I put the S&S or the Mikuni back on. Those accelerator pumps, I think the Mikuni is pretty strong, and I've seen, I'll put the S&S back on at some point probably, and I'll show that, and it's a fucking deluge of gas that goes in there, which isn't necessarily a great thing for fuel economy, but man, do you get a shove compared to a push with the other carbs. So from a rideability and a fuel economy and all that standpoint, CV carb. For fun, for hauling around something heavy like a sidecar and possibly a person, maybe you're better off with the other. The other thing is, they make adapters so you can put your S&S air filter outer on this, which was kind of lame to have a CV and then put the S&S cover on, but whatever, for aesthetics, if you want that, right? But they're not cheap. The Who's It What's It used to make an adapter. I don't think it actually worked correctly, so it's off the market. I found one on eBay They want like $70 for it. I think I found somebody stateside who does it as well, because to fit the S&S back plate, which is curved in an interesting way, and the air cleaner, it's not as simple as just a spacer with the right holes. So you could do that, or you could get a CV plate, which is going to be missing the, probably set up for an Evo or for a twin cam, and it's going to miss the support plate holes, so it's just going to have that for nothing. So you're going to have to figure out what you're going to have to do there. Or you can fashion something, but long and the short is you're going to spend money just to then buy an air filter on top of it, just to get this to work. So for me, the carb was free. The doohickey here, I think was like $10 or whatever. I did some jetting, stuff like that, had that stuff, that was free. But now I'm gonna probably spend $100-$150 just to get an air cover on this, when it's not my favorite experience for me riding it. And so we'll see. I'll probably leave it on for maybe the rest of the season, or till tomorrow when I want to feel the shove of the S&S. Or I'll buy a Mikuni, which again will create the same problem, because I have the adapter to use your CV plates on a Mikuni, but you still need to figure out how to mount it and all that sort of stuff, and you'll still need a filter and the base plate. So anyway, a lot of rambling, things to consider. Obviously, one last thing, I know Prism makes a kit. It makes an adapter, which is, I don't think, available, that just basically covers this in a screen. Puts a wire mesh on it. And whereas that's going to work for keeping birds out and rocks and leaves and stuff like that, from a rain standpoint, especially if your tires kicking up stuff and all that, I'm sure they work. I'm sure you're going to get people saying, "Oh, I've got one. I've never had an issue." By all means, but maybe not the best thing if you really want to lay down miles in all different conditions, as opposed to just head out to the bar. So anyway, food for thought. Hope this was helpful.